Have you ever walked away from something, a relationship, a habit, or even a mindset, and then you start to feel tempted to go back? You know that God has freed you from it, but now you're second guessing yourself. Let me tell you, that pull to return is not from God. If you have walked away, don't ever go back because God has definitely set you free. Now, stick with me through this video because we're going to unpack why freedom matters, how to resist the urge to return to the past, and how to stay on the path that God has prepared for you. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, and this channel is all about inspiring you with God's word, practical advice, and life lessons that helps you grow stronger in your faith. So if this sounds like something you need, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification so you never miss a video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for being a part of this amazing community. Let's go ahead and jump in today's message. Let's talk about why God calls us to walk away from certain things in the first place. When God sets you free, He's doing it for a reason. In John 8:36, it says that, "So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." That's not just freedom from your past, but freedom to step into something new. But here's the thing. Sometimes freedom doesn't feel like freedom at all, right? Sometimes it feels like a dry phone. It feels like you're being alone all the time. It may feel like a loss or just like uncertainty because you left behind what's familiar to you. Maybe you walked away from a toxic relationship and now you're feeling lonely. Maybe you quit a habit that held you back, but now you're uncomfortable trying to figure out what's next. Let me just remind you that freedom is a process. Just because it feels hard doesn't mean you're supposed to go back. You remember in the Bible what happened to the Israelites? God delivered them from slavery, right? But as soon as things got tough for them, they started complaining. They even said that they would be better off in Egypt. Can you imagine they wanted to go back to slavery because it was familiar to them? But God wasn't taking them back. He was leading them to the promised land. So I tell you, don't let the discomfort of the process make you doubt God's promise. He set you free because He has something so much better ahead of you. And you have to know that looking back is very dangerous. And I'm going to share one of the most striking stories in the Bible about looking back. In the Bible, there was a lady and she was Lot's wife. When God was destroying the town, He sent angels to save Lot's family. They was warned, don't look back. It was a clear command not to look back. But what did Lot's wife do? She disobeyed and she turned back to look at the city. And in that moment, she turned into a pillar of salt. She turned into salt. And you may ask yourself, why? Because her heart was still tied to what God has called her to leave behind. So that's why you don't look back. Because here's the truth. Looking back doesn't just slow you down. It could completely stop you. When you focus on what's behind you, that loss, and you're not looking at where God is leading you to, it's like trying to drive forward while staring into the rearview mirror. You're going to crash. And let's bring this closer to home. Maybe you walked away from a relationship where they was unfaithful, they lied, cheat, or they could have abused you. And you prayed so hard to be freed from them, right? And God set you free. And all of a sudden, here comes this person promising you the world, right? You thinking they done change. You start to feel lonely. You start to check their social media page, and just entertaining their messages. Or maybe you stopped a habit you know wasn't good for you, but you kept hanging out in the same place or with the same people that tempted you to pick it up again. That's like Lot's wife looking back. It's keeping one foot in the past while trying to move forward. You can't step into something new that God has called for you while you're still holding on to an old thing He told you to leave. Now, I'm going to give you some advice on how to stay free and how to move forward and how to not be tempted to going back. So let me go ahead and give you these 3 steps. And anytime that urge come up to where you feel like, oh, I'm going to go back, things are going to be different, I want you to remember these 3 things, okay? Number 1, remember your why. You need to write down why you walked away in the first place. What was God saving you from? What did it cost you to stay in that situation? Keeping this reminder in front of you will strengthen your resolve when you feel weak. Because I know for me, I walked away from a toxic relationship. And I used to get like this tempted to, oh, if he reached out to me, I would be like, oh, things may be different. But when I started thinking like, why did I walk away? I got a feeling of disgust. And I'm like, there's no way I would ever go back to that. Ever. Because I know that God has something new for me. I know that he has something a whole lot better for me. And then half of the time we be in these relationships, and us as women, we don't really get anything out of this relationship. The man stays at the house with us. We do this, we do that, while he's really not doing anything for you. So why would you want to go back to that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm giving a prime example because I see it so many times. I mean, you got to think, why would you go back to that? As a man, he should be able to provide for you. You don't want to go back to something that they never done anything for you for in the beginning. Because 9 times out of 10, it was your energy that was making that person feel special. When you strip all that away and you write down why you left, what all this person did for you, I promise you, you'll get this disgust feeling, and that'll be everything that you need to move forward. All right, number 2, fill the void. When you walk away from something, it creates a space in your life. So if you don't fill that space with something healthy, the enemy's going to come knocking. He's going to try to fill it with doubt, with temptation, or with fear. That's why you have to spend time in prayer. You have to dive into God's word, and you have to surround yourself with people who's going to uplift and who's going to encourage you. And number 3, trust God's timing. One of the main reasons why people go back because they're impatient. You don't see the new thing that God promised you. So you think maybe you would be better off before. But it clearly tells you in the Bible, those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. You have to trust that God is working behind the scenes, even if you can't see it. The best is still ahead. Okay? Trust me, I know how it feels. I've been there. I used to question God's plan, like, why? I want to be in a relationship. I want this. I want that. I've been tempted to return to the things that he delivered me from too. But every time I decide to choose to stay the course, he always shows me that this way was so much better than anything that I left behind. So you got to know that if he got you in a waiting season, it's okay to wait. This is your time to get yourself together. This is your time to heal. This is your time to get in shape. This is your time to do what you always wanted to do. This is your time to do that. Especially if you're waiting on a relationship, it's your time to get yourself together, right? It's your time. Get yourself together. What God has for you, it will not miss you. All right, y'all. So if this message encouraged you today, let me know in the comments what's something that God has set you free from. Because I love to hear your story and to be able to pray for you. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join this amazing community. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need this reminder. Your support helps this channel grow and reach more people just with God's word. And I'm going to give you a final encouragement for today. Remember, God doesn't just free you from something. He frees you for something better. You have to stay focused on him and don't let the past hold you back. You have to keep walking forward because your best days are ahead. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Rise and Evolve. And I'll definitely see you in the next video. Make sure you always stay blessed, stay prayed up, and stay free.